death, but within the next day of streaming, I got a no miss with all 3 characters. Ilias was by far the hardest, so I won't be playing him today. His 1cc is interesting. It definitely tests your patience more than the other 2 do, but I just don't particularly think Ilias is all that fun to play. In short, his magic is really bad. So anyway, let's go ahead and fire our quarter in. Axe actually has a really good run. He's probably my favorite character to play, but Tiras is the most consistent, so we're going to go ahead and play her today. Cool. As soon as I started the timer, MAME decided to freeze. Let me reset that. That was weird. That's a new one. Hopefully that's the last stupid thing it does. Let's try it again. There we go. I also do have this game on my PS3, but it was going to be a lot more trouble to set that up. Of the 3 games in this block, the second one is the only one I don't have available on a console. So it's just easier just to run it all on emulator. So what we're going to be seeing a lot of is this high leap and this stab. This does the most damage of any attack you have. That was very unfortunate. Sometimes you get bad landings. I tend to try to set up on the bottom pixel because it is the easiest way to land that. Otherwise, they can just kind of move in and out, and you might actually miss. See if I can go for a setup here. I've actually gotten that double kill before, but it's tough. Easy peasy. As you can see, we're going to be collecting bottles from these gnomes, and we really need those. Tiras has the largest magic meter of any character. She can hold 9 bottles. Axe, I believe, holds 6, and Gilius only holds 4. But with those large drop-offs, that means their magic also isn't going to do quite as much damage or be nearly as efficient. Went for both there, got nothing. That's new. So here's our first boss. We have these 2 guys with the hammers. This could be bad. Yeah, this is annoying. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to their movement. Sometimes they can just kind of, it looks like they're just kind of just wobbling and doing nothing. But that's actually advantageous for them because it makes it really hard for you to be able to hit them. I'm amazed that didn't hit, but that did, I guess. It's also important to make sure that they're off your Y as much as possible because that's how they hit you as well. The reason they're trying to move so much is so they can make sure that they can hit you. This is essentially the only way you can do actual real damage to him, and I usually don't get them being this uncooperative. As long as he doesn't hit us, I really don't care, but they are kind of just bleeding time for no reason. There we go. So we took a little bit of damage in the first stage, and we should be able to recover that for the next stage. I'm gonna get some of our bottles back. This should take us up to 8 bottles, I believe, but I'm gonna hold on to those for now. I actually think Stage 2 has the most interesting speed strats in the game, but unfortunately I'm not particularly good at them. This guy I'm just going to set up against the wall. Particularly because, I'll be honest, I'm not that great at high jump execution. Dashes in this game feel incredibly rigid, but you also have to do them. Like, you're not going to be able to play this game very well without being able to dash. It's the most important thing you can be doing at any given time. That happens sometimes too. Sometimes if an enemy gets in a certain range, if you do like an instant dash attack, it just kind of just hovers there in the air instead of actually moving forward. So didn't love that. Stage also introduces us to another very important mechanic in this game, that being the mounts. We saw a mount in the first stage that we didn't use. It was that little altered beast enemy with the tail. Not very good. Whereas the dragons are just basically busted. We have this fire breath attack that does tons of damage, has a huge hitbox, and we can stun lock them. I'm gonna try and get out some of these bottles. I'm not gonna collect them, I actually want them to stick around. Boss fight for this room. Dragon does all the work for us, that's not good. They snuck up on me. This could be bad, I may actually miss out on the dragon here. Okay. If through a certain duration of time, the dragons actually despawns. I'm gonna go ahead and just kill all this. I mean, the game has its problems, but it's timeless. This is one of those like early beat 'em ups that actually kind of set the standard for the genre, and for its history alone, I'm more than okay with that. So the skeleton was the actual boss there, and he actually is a bit of a problem. We'll be seeing more of those a bit on, and they're honestly the hardest enemies in the game outside of bosses, but because we'll be seeing them as basic enemies throughout the rest of the run, and they're not exactly very welcome. So we got a little bit of health back there. Stage 3 is probably my favorite stage, because it gives us the best mount, that being the red dragon. This thing is incredibly powerful. Take it as quickly as I can. You get iframes while you're climbing on mounts, as do the enemies. Go ahead and blow that up. I also didn't show this off in the last stage. We do have a dash attack that we can utilize with the dragon, which is actually very good. It's essentially the same as our dash and kick, but I think it has a slightly better hitbox. That was wonky. Everybody's getting not hit today, apparently. I don't care about these other enemies. I just want this guy off the dragon here. There we go. As long as they're not on a mount, Fireball's killing one hit, but everybody just wanted to saddle up today, I guess. So here's the dash attack. As you can see, it's all its glory for platforming. I want to make sure I get all these bottles. And I believe you can actually fall down the bottom there, so I'm trying not to do that. Dash across. High jump just takes too long, so I prefer just to do a dash attack across. We're gonna dash back to the left. With these guys falling out of the door. The second one's gonna be really hard to catch. He's gonna spawn right out of the door. There we go. Alright. Wipes them out. Get a couple more bottles. We're actually not gonna use these until the next stage, but I will go ahead and take them. Come back here. One thing I learned I could do yesterday that I prefer to do in this stage is kill all these enemies before the boss spawns. These guys are being awful. What is with this dodging? This is wild. Wow. That dude is invincible. I clearly cannot beat him. Yeah, that's not good either. This is actually a problem. So that's a life down. Not real happy about that. One thing I did forget to mention, when you reach a certain point of the stage where the movement can stop, the boss will actually automatically spawn, and that's where problems came in here. I don't think I've ever had an issue actually dealing with that guy before the boss spawns, and he dodged everything I threw at him, so I was just like, alright, I guess I'll just shrug and stand here. So that was something. So the 1CC is still alive, but Deathless Possibility is now at its end. Go ahead and take this. Stage 4 is not the hardest stage in the game, but it is probably my least favorite. Come on, Tyrus, please give me a dash. When you dash in this game, for the second directional input, you have to commit to it. It has to be like a hard right or left. And I tend to sometimes just do like forward, because some games actually let you just get away with that kind of buffering. Golden Axe does not. Like, they want you to run. These guys normally don't act up this much either, but there we go. Up here. Got a little bit of nit for the skeleton here. This is the first stage where we see these guys as basic enemies and not as bosses. Pretty easy kill there. This guy would like to get over to the right without getting hit. There we go. One more time. Go for a leap. There we go. I'm gonna have a similar setup with this guy. Hit him. Get a leap. Since he's cornered, he really can't get out of that if I time it correctly. Don't need more bottles, but I want this guy despawned from the screen. So this boss segment's interesting. We don't actually have a boss to fight here. You can argue that these enemies are bosses because they actually do have increased health over their original forms, because I think they're supposed to be like made of granite, I guess. They're definitely zombified, whatever the hell is going on. I still want to see if I can get a down stab like that, just because they do so much damage. It takes, I think, 4 kicks to take one down, but for high jumps, it only takes like 2, I believe. Yo, Aquas, thank you so much for the raid. So here I'm going to wait for the last 2 skeletons to despawn. Pop off with the dragon. Kills everything on screen, and now I have 2 more enemies to deal with. This is pretty simple as long as I'm willing to ping pong. You can do some more complex strats here, but honestly, I'm down to life, and I'd rather things just go away forever. If it's all the same. We're going to try and collect the health in the bonus stage after this. There we go. Got a meaty out of that. That was solid. Alright, 1 life left into the last stage. As mentioned, this is still a possibility because I have Deathless this game before, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to snag that. My order there is always to hit the blue guy twice, then the green guy, then the blue guy for the last time to make sure you get all the resources you need. Alright, so last stage is... It's something. It's certainly complicated, despite how simple it's supposed to be. That was bad, that turned good. Huh, never seen that guy just not fall off before. That's weird. But okay, we got what we needed. Everybody's dead. Get our mount. This is the only mount we get for the rest of the stage, and we are going to need it. Seriously, if I lose the dragon before the final segment, then the run is likely just dead. I'm gonna let this guy spawn. This segment's actually really difficult in my opinion, mainly because there's a segment where 3 enemies spawn all at once, and they have really, really good movement to work around you. This being this right here. And if they get what they want and get the mount away from you, you are in a lot of trouble. So you don't want that. The guy was just not taking a hint. So we're gonna have 2 of these knights to deal with. Fire Breath is really good against them, but I don't want them flanking me, if I can help it. So let me take some quiet time here. That was bad. that sword swipe has entirely too much reach. It's so scary. Clutch it out, though. So this is going to be the last time I can get some bottles. We also get the final boss music, which is amazing. This is probably my favorite final boss theme in any game. It's so good. Get those. Okay, so we have full magic now. That's good. We're going to camp this point here so I can just try to kill these enemies in the corner, which generally works. So with Death Adder spawning, my goal from here is I want to kill one of these skeletons. The guy with the hammer is going to die before that. But the guy on the skeleton one of the skeletons has to die too. Cool. Alright, so now we got all this in here. We're going to go ahead and ignite our magic. And that's the last skeleton spawn, so we only have to 1v1 Death Adder at this point. We're going to put him in the corner. Spit at him. Spit at him again. Beat Dylon. Beat Dylon. Quick, top 5 best rappers. Dylon, 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 and Dylon, and Dylon. We spit hot fire. Axe is gonna be time. Oh, jeez. After I lost that life in stage 3, I didn't know what the heck was gonna happen with this game. So yeah, that was solid for sure. To be fair, I did put a lot of practice into that last segment, and I wanted to make sure it didn't go wrong. I kind of had to work a lot of strats in before, be like, okay, if this happens, do this. Lots of flowcharty type stuff, but I changed it around to basically a method where, okay, so I need to make sure this happens, then I can just close the game out. And that's exactly how that went, so yeah, good times. Despite not being a no-miss, that run was everything I wanted it to be. Oh, and this ending is incredible. Also one of my favorites. Music's great. You get some serious 80s arcade vibes here. Last Survivor. Also, real talk, there's an Asian market here in town that sells Hokari sweat. Should be considering to get it. Thank you all so much for the GGs. Not a bad run, and I still think this game is worth learning for anyone that wants to put the time into it. You can go really, really quickly if you decide to learn the speed strats. I want to say the top times are all like under 8 minutes, but there are a lot of speed strats that I just don't use that require some pretty precise hits. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed that. We'll be moving on to our next game, Denjin Makai, here in just a moment while I get switched over. Stay tuned. Yeah, just for fun, let's check our score. I've been told that score attack runs of this game are just completely unnerving and probably not worth my time, so it's pretty weird. But anyway, yeah, see y'all soon.